Hi, I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Katie Degrio Channing, and I'm here today to talk to you about reentry permits. If you're a lawful permanent resident, I'm sure you know that you don't want to lose your permanent resident status in the United States. For a lot of people, it takes a long time to earn and get that green card approved. And the last thing you want to do is have it deemed abandoned because you need to spend a long period of time outside the United States. So I'm here to talk to you about some options that you have and reasonings why you should consider filing for a reentry permit. For example, if you need to be outside the United States for more than 6 months at a time, maybe because you have family to care for outside the United States, your job is transferring you to an international location, or you have other valid reasons that you need to be outside the United States for a long period of time, you should consider filing for a reentry permit. The purpose of the reentry permit is to preserve your status, meaning that you are letting the U.S. government know that you intend to maintain your resident status and you are not intending to abandon it by needing to be outside of the United States for a long period of time. For example, 1 to 2 years, and at a minimum more than 6 months at a time. Let's now talk about the process and what's required of you to file for a reentry permit. There's an application Form I-131 that's submitted to USCIS along with the applicable filing fee. What's important to know is that you and any other applicant, if you have family members who also need to file, each of you needs to be physically present in the United States when the application is submitted to the U.S. Immigration Service. Also, there may be a requirement of biometrics. In some instances, USCIS will waive the biometrics depending on how recently you've had biometrics. A lot of people ask if they need to remain in the United States while they're waiting for their reentry permit to process. My advice is no, but you need to be ready to return if you are called for biometrics. You also need to be ready to return within about 6 months of each trip to make sure that you're not outside the United States for more than 6 months at a time while your reentry permit is pending. Overall, right now, we're seeing that processing times are quite lengthy for USCIS to approve the reentry permits. So as of January 2024, it's taking about 17 months for that permit to be issued by USCIS. Another important thing to keep in mind is USCIS will issue the validity of the permit from the date it's approved. So if you're requesting a 2-year permit, it won't be backdated. It'll be approved forward-facing, meaning that if USCIS approves your permit in August of 2024, it will be valid for 2 years beginning August of 2024. A reentry permit can be renewed or refiled upon expiration. Each time you submit a new application for a reentry permit, you'll need to document your reasoning for needing to continue to be outside the United States. It certainly is the discretion of USCIS on whether they continue to grant you multiple reentry permits. But again, each case is highly individual, and we can talk through options and process and strategy around your case if you're on a multiple reentry permit application process. A couple of other things to keep in mind: you do need to continue to file your U.S. taxes. That is specifically a question that is asked on the reentry permit application. And as a lawful permanent resident, you do need to file your taxes to show that you're not intending to abandon your U.S. residence. Lastly, the other thing to keep in mind, if you are interested in filing for naturalization to become a U.S. citizen, the reentry permit does not preserve your physical presence requirement for naturalization purposes. You will still need to meet the physical presence requirement. The reentry permit is only preserving your permanent resident status, so it's not abandoned, but it is not protecting or preserving any of your physical presence requirements for the naturalization process. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to drop a comment below.